All right, you guys, welcome back. It's Sunday. My goal is to make a video for you guys every single Sunday, so I'm going to hold myself accountable. If you have questions, reach out on Instagram. This actually was a question somebody sent in to me. We're going to be talking about properly weighing your food today. So that's going to be the basic thing that you need is a food scale. If you like any of this content, like this video, subscribe, reach out to me on Instagram with your questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. Why a food scale? It's going to be the most accurate way to track your food. Over cup measures, over tablespoons, over everything. The other concept is it's easy. It's easier. You're going to use a tablespoon to track your peanut butter. It's going to be off. You will have a heaping tablespoon, a small tablespoon, a round tablespoon. Nobody actually makes sure it's perfectly level. And when you're dieting down, you're hungry. So it is much more likely that you're going to take this fabulous peanut butter and make it a little rounder. So to keep yourself accountable, you take your food scale, you'll zero it out on your table. Obviously, I don't have a table, so this is the best I can do. Take your peanut butter, take the top off. Zero it out. You can take your scoop, whatever negative number it reads. Let's say it's 30 grams. You know you have that on your spoon. You can go ahead and eat it, enjoy it, and track it accurately. When I say track, what I prefer to use is any type of tracking app, whether it be MyFitnessPal, Baratastic. I'm sure there's a ton of them. Carbon Diet Coach is a really cool app. I am not endorsed by any of these people or these apps, but those are some of your options. Weigh everything. Weigh your apple. One medium apple. What does that mean? It means nothing. Know what you're eating. It's a good place to start, okay? So you need to learn about food. You need to know what you're consuming so that you can make decisions about what you're eating. So let's say your goal is weight maintenance. Well, start tracking what you're currently eating and see what pans out. Maybe you're like, oh, you know what? I could swap this out and then I would be more satisfied because I swapped it. If you are trying to create a deficit, you need to start somewhere. And knowing about food so you can make those swaps is a very easy way to do it. If you've been tracking a long time and you have habitual meals that you really enjoy, you know what your typical portions look like, you probably can stop tracking after a couple of years. But it's that learning process that is going to have to take place in some aspect, whether it's learning about what a balanced meal looks like or just tracking foods in general. So if you're somebody like me who needs a large volume of food to be full, I'm using lower calorie, nutrient-dense foods to bulk my meals up. I eat a lot more than a lot of people, volume-wise. But I can do so because I can keep my calories in check by accurately tracking. And that's going to be important whether, like I said, you're maintaining, you're trying to create a slight surplus, or you're trying to lose weight. Majority of people that I talk to and people that I see in my practice are looking to lose weight. So creating a deficit is going to be easier if we're accurately tracking and controlling variables. And step one, using your food scale so we actually know what you're taking in. You can use a food scale for every item. Greek cream cheese. If you know me, I use this in everything. You're going to take the entire bar out of the package. Zero it out, just like you normally would with the peanut butter, and take your portion. Whatever it says, you track. That way, if you lick the knife, whatever, you know that you've consumed it, and that's great, and we enjoyed it. And we're not like, maybe those extra licks and little bits of this and that are adding up to more than what we thought. You're more accurately tracking, makes it easier to make decisions. all foods can be tracked. These Joseph's wraps, oops, they're open. They tell you on any food label the weight in grams for that serving. So these Joseph's pitas are supposedly 32 grams. People see that and they're like, oh, 32 grams for the whole thing, only 60 calories. Read your labels. 32 grams is half of the pita. Half of it. So, you're consuming double that. So let's just, for instance, weigh this. This is one of the... Joseph's pitas are notorious in bodybuilding world for being off. So, for this whole pita, it's actually huge, and there's a piece, I think, missing of it. No. They're huge. They're great for pita pizzas. They're delicious. This whole thing should be 64 grams. It's 55 grams. 55 grams. So you can do some easy math here. So, a quarter of a serving should be, and you just do 32 times 0.25, is 8 grams. So, should be 64 plus 8 would be 70. What's going on here? I think my food scale's off. Well, now it's reading. Let's see here. Yeah, it's reading 55 grams. So it's less than the serving that it supposedly is supposed to be. So therefore, you track it as such. And then you can eat more possibly in your day. So like if you're maintaining weight and you're not tracking accurately, it could be something like this, a small discretion making you think you're eating more calories, and you're like, well, I'm not maintaining weight on these calories. What's going on? Well, you're actually eating less than what you thought. So those are all the ideas. Dressings, same concept. Every food label has the weight in gram. 34 grams is a serving, 2 tablespoons. So instead of getting your tablespoon out and measuring it in the tablespoon, then you've got extra dishes, everything like that. No. Zero your salad out on the food scale and drizzle it on until it hits 32 grams. Boom. This is like step 1. Just knowing portion sizes will be a cornerstone of anything you decide to do nutritionally as far as maintaining weight, losing weight, trying to get into a slight surplus for muscle gain, things like that. So get a food scale. They're really inexpensive. Start from square one, just seeing what you're currently eating, and then track it. However you decide, if you want to track it in a notebook and use Google, which obviously there's inaccuracies, that's fine. If you want to use one of the tracking apps, they're free. Use one. Well, MyFitnessPal is, and Beartastic. So track, so you can start to make decisions like, you know what? If I went for this breakfast sausage instead of the current one that I'm using, I could save this many calories and still enjoy it, and then possibly eat more, feel more satisfied. Sounds good to me. So those are all the things. You can start critically thinking about what you're taking in and eat a more balanced, beautiful diet and be more full because you're selecting maybe lower calorie, nutrient dense foods. So those are all ideas behind doing this. Let's talk about meats. That's a big question that I get. How should you weigh your meat? The bottom line. Bottom line. Keep it consistent. If you're weighing your food raw, your meat raw, continue to do so and track it as such. In MyFitnessPal, or like when you scan a label on like your fish or whatever, it'll come up as raw flounder, blah, blah, blah grams. Okay. What I would recommend, just for easier meal prepping and so you can cook in bulk if you choose to, track it cooked. Because you can meal prep on the weekend, make a ton of your chicken, fish, whatever it is, beef, whatever it is, and take the portion that you need for that day or that meal or whatever. Maybe you're making tacos. Cool. Take, how much beef you're going to need. That type of thing. It makes it easier. Just make sure when you're tracking it in the app, you're selecting cooked. Because obviously when you cook your meat, you're going to lose water. It's going to make it weigh less. So your frozen fish at 200 grams is going to lose about 25% of its weight when you cook it. So you might think that you're, taking in so many grams of protein, whereas you're actually not, because you have the wrong one being tracked in your app, your notebook, whatever you decide to use. So I'm going to leave it here. If you guys have questions on anything, feel free to reach out. I hope this helps somebody. And like I said, if you like this video, like it, subscribe. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, boho_nutrition, and ask questions. I post recipes. I hope that, like I said, some of this helps somebody. All right, guys, have a great week, and I'll talk to you Sunday.